Yo, here we go. So, do men suffer in silence? Yeah, I'm gonna make it very clear. Men do suffer in silence. That's just what men do. Because anytime men complain, or not even complain, anytime they have a good actual issue with something and they say something about it, there's always going to be pushback. This is a valid complaint. There's like a valid complaint. And they're like, no, your complaint's not valid. It's dismissed, just whatever. So after a period of time of keep saying this is valid in your mind as a man, after a while, you're just like, why say anything at all? This is a valid complaint. I came to you, I spoke to you, I talked to you, and you're just like, I don't care. No, I'm not going to do it or whatever. So it's like at a certain point, you don't even complain anymore. Especially when it comes to jobs. Definitely when it comes to jobs. At a certain point, you just go to work, do your thing. You do as minimum as possible to keep from getting fired, and you go home. When I go to jobs, especially truck driving jobs, and I talk to men, and we're talking, and we're like, da-da-da-da, well, we said something about it. They said this, that, and the other. We just come to work, do our shit, and we leave. At a certain point, men are going to keep saying the same thing over and over. We're just going to be like, we're just going to shut down, do our thing, and leave. And women are like, why don't men talk more? Why don't men talk more? There's mainly two reasons why men do not speak their mind and why they suffer in silence. One is going to be dismissed, or two is going to be used against them later. Let me say it again. One is going to be dismissed, or two is going to be used against them later. So why say anything at all? When I see older men, like older than me, I'm almost 50. So when I see 60, 70, 80-year-old men and they're in relationships, they're just sit there quiet. They watch TV. The wife is bitching. They don't even say nothing. They're like, yeah, honey, right. You're right. It's wrong. I'll fix it. They're just such pushovers. They're so like, I don't care anymore. Do what you want to do. I'm going to do what I got to do to fix it. I'll just shut up, blah, blah, blah. To a point where it's just like, it's almost like it angers me. Because when I talk to those men, they're like, man, I've been talking to her for years about this. But since they're with the old programming where it's like relationships, stay together, blah, 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 they don't push back. But you got this new generation who pushes back. So that's where the collision comes in at, because these old dudes are teaching the new dudes. The old dudes are teaching the new dudes, and the new dudes are like, nah, we ain't doing that, Unc. We ain't doing that. That's why I told you before. That's one of the reasons why I talk to the younger dudes, because the younger dudes understand they're more pushback. The older dudes are just like, man, I'm older, and it is what it is. It is. You heard that saying 150 times. It is what it is. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's something about peace of mind. Peace of mind. Rather than suffer in silence, I'd rather have peace of mind. Now, I'm not a Bible thumper. By far, I am not a Bible thumper. But the Bible constantly talks about it, rather be away from a woman to do this, rather be on the roof than do this, rather than be in a corner than deal with this type of woman. But the Bible talks about that all in Proverbs. I'm saying that because I just heard that I listened to somebody on YouTube. And he was like, that's what the Proverbs are saying. They're like, well, there's good women out there. You just got to find it. I don't got time to be looking for 100,000, going through 100,000 women to find one. You just got to know where to look. Where am I supposed to look? Where? The library? What woman's going to the library? Where you want me to look? You want me to go to Hinge? You want me to go to Facebook dating? You want me to go to online booty call? You want me to go to Pornhub? Where do you want me to go to find these women at? And then I asked the women who say I need to go to places to find these women. They're like, well, why aren't you with somebody? I'm looking for that special one. We are so far past all of that, and nobody seems to realize that. Men seem to realize that. Women still think that this guy is out there, because women go by hypergamy. What is hypergamy? It's monkey branching. What is monkey branching? They're going to the next highest guy. They're always looking for the next highest guy. So they're with you, but looking for the next highest guy. And if they're still with you after a period of time, they sort of kind of just gave up. And it was like, this is my dude. Let's ride this shit out. And there are men who I know who are just in relationships. It's cheaper to keep her. You know, I'm just going to stay with her and see how this works out. And Dude, that's a miserable existence. You may live 80 plus years and you're miserable for 30 to 40, 50 of those years. That's crazy to me. I was married, yes. 2 years into marriage, separated. 2 years later, divorced. I'm not one of them dudes to be like, just tough it out my ass. If I'm speaking to you on this level and I'm telling you what's wrong, this is what I need corrected. You know, I'm speaking, like, I'm doing what I told you I do. Like, there's something in my offers called joint decision. All of my offers is something that I've done, and I made an offer, and I put it in the link. You click it, and you keep it pushing. I've done those things that's in those offers. This isn't something I read somewhere, and I just like, oh, make a course about it. No, I've done all the things that you see, the courses and the offers that I developed. That's clicking the link, and you see, I've done those. I've done that. The joint decision, I've done that with my ex-wife. I've made a joint decision in here. That's why it's easy for me to just leave. It's easy for me to leave any situation like that. So once I made that decision, and I told you before in my other videos when I said you got the subconscious and you got the brain, and when those two work together, oh, it's a wrap. Once I get these two to work together, my brain isn't on some whole, well, maybe we should stay. And the subconscious is like, I'm glad we left. And that's why you always going back to the same people you always went back to. That's why you still live in the same places you live. That's why you won't leave to go to other places, because that brain keeps telling you one thing and the subconscious keeps telling you something else, and depression happens, and then you do the coping skills, and then you see how the cycle just continues. And you're like, well, I told her, man, I don't like that. Well, why are you still with her? Well, it's cheaper to keep her, and, you know, it's rough out here, and there ain't nobody. Well, okay, well, go celibate. Go monk mode. Hell, I've been in monk mode for almost 2 years now. Figure yourself out. And if push come to shove, you can always pay for it. Oh, you can't mention that, right? You know, but women are monetized now. They're monetized. What does monetized mean? It's pay for play. You don't find a good woman out here somewhere, some good Christian woman with no kids? Good luck with all that. Good luck with all that. A woman over 30 with high body counts, she's not able to connect. There's something that's called, just escaped my thoughts right now. But they're not able to bond. They're not able to bond with a man. After a certain number of men that these women been with, they're not able to bond. Imagine a piece of tape. Now, I don't have a piece of tape with me. Imagine a piece of tape. You got a piece of tape, right? And you stick it. And you stick it on something else. And you stick it on something else. And all these times you stick it on something else. You stick it on something else. You stick it on something else. At a certain point, you're going to stick it on something. It's not going to stick. And you're like, it's not sticky no more, right? Because it has all that stuff on it that you've been sticking everywhere else. So that tape was no longer able to bond to what you wanted to bond to. And you're meeting these women who are no longer able to bond. It's called parabonding. That's what it's called, parabonding. Once you went to a certain, I don't know what, each woman has a different number. Could be 10, 20, 30, who knows? Each one has a different number. And once they reach that number, they're no longer able to bond with a man and be like, okay, this is my guy. Especially today's women, because they're starting so much earlier than women of my age. I was born in 74. Like I said, I'm almost 50. So women my age, we didn't have the internet the way the internet is now. You can be 13 years old, acting like you're 14, or acting like you're 18 and go get a counsel on this other shit and deal with women older than you. I mean, deal with men older than you, right? You can't do that. You couldn't do that back in the 80s. The internet, quote unquote, the internet was born January 1st, 1983. That's the quote unquote date of the internet. It was born way before that, but for public purposes, January 1st, 1983. Then you started having all these relatively new within the last 20 years. Relatively new, the last 10 years. All these things are relatively new. But it's bombarded the system so much that Now you have 13, 14-year-olds they're wilding out. Were they wilding out before? Yes. But now with the internet, it's exploded into this bigger, way bigger thing than what it should be at 13, 14 years old. Then you have the men. They already had these studies where women have had so many sexual partners before they're 18 versus their counterparts at 18. An 18-year-old man is probably still a virgin in today's world versus an 18-year-old woman who's probably had at minimum 5 partners. And I'm just doing that from 13 to 18, which is 5 years, 1 man a year. Okay. And Lord forbid if she's cute, pretty, got a body done or anything like that, you can just explode them numbers up to higher. So where are you supposed to look for these women at? Church? The library? Where do you think? And then men are absorbing all of this. Men are seeing this, they're absorbing this, they want to say it, they can't say it because, oh, you're whining, who hurt you, and all these other sign language, right? They're using all this sign language on you. Okay? And they're just like, and men are just like, you know what? I'll just sit back and don't say nothing. And not everybody's going to be the top 20%. That's another thing. Women are searching for the top 20%, whether it's on dating sites, whether it's in the real world. It's a top 20% that women are going for. If you're not part of that top 20%, good luck. Because it's going to even be that much harder for you to even meet a nice quote-unquote woman. Because even now you got women who are 4s and they think they're 9s. They call them 49ers. Right? Where they think they're finer than what they are. Or they call them slim thick and I'm just big bone and all this other nonsense. Or I'm cute, this, that, and the other with all this makeup and crap they put on their faces. It's just like, no, you're not. But you can't tell them that, because if you do, you're not going to get what you want to get. And the cycle continues. Then you have the problem with the women who are making more money, but they want to be with guys who are making more money than them, and that leads to a problem. Or you get to the women who are making good money, and they're with guys who are lesser than them, then eventually that leads to a problem. So the whole mismatch, we are living in a new world order. But you got people who are just old world order thinking, and it's not working. If she don't want to be with you, it's a wrap. Nothing I can say is going to help that. I don't have any offers or any courses to help relationships. I don't, and I will never make one. I promise you, I'll never make an offer to help a relationship. I'm not that guy. Don't care. I'm more about your peace of mind. I'm 100% about your peace of mind. Because once you have peace of mind, there are certain women you're not even going to look at. There are certain women you're not even going to deal with. There are certain women that's going to be not even on your radar. It's going to be easy to just dismiss them. Why? Because you have peace of mind. And when you have peace of mind, you have Pam. Who is Pam? Purpose, aim, and mission. Those two go hand in hand. That's why I'm able to be so laser focused. Because I have peace of mind. I have Pam. So it's easy for me to just dismiss people and push people to the side and keep it pushing. Wrong, that's wrong. Don't care. Right or wrong is relative to the person. Right and wrong is relative to the person. So I say that to say because it's like what's chaos to the fly is normal to the spider. You shouldn't push people to the side. Don't care. That's not how society works. What shoulda, coulda, woulda, good luck with all that. Them days are gone. They're gone. And there's nothing you can do to bring them back. People want to bring back chivalry and people want to bring back morals and ethics and standards and blah, blah, blah. Okay, how far you want to go back? Well, first of all, we got to turn off the electricity. That means the internet's not going to work. So how far you want to go back before you're on some whole, okay, we're back far enough. You want to go live with the Amish somewhere in Pennsylvania? Is that what you want? Horse and buggy? Riding around with a lantern on your buggy? Is that what you want? If that's what you want, how far you want to go back to when things were simpler? We are so far past that, it's not coming back. If it didn't work with who you were with, it's not going to work in the future. What is your plan? What's your plan? People kill me with this whole, they have no plan. They have no exit strategy. They have no plan. It's just like, I'll just figure it out. Dude, time is going by like this. And you're telling me you're going to figure it out? How you going to figure it out? You can do pray on it. And you know, people love to talk about prayer. I'll just pray on it. That's what I call PhD syndrome, which is called prayer, hope, and dream syndrome. That's the Black community loves to pray on everything because prayer is the ultimate dismisser of accountability. You want to be unaccountable? Just say God told you. You want to be unaccountable? Say I'll pray on it. You want to be unaccountable? Just say, well, I'll see what God. Just keep putting prayer in everything because it leads to unaccountability. Why is your life the way it is? Well, that's how God wanted it to be. Why is your life better? Well, God was going to do it. Well, why don't you do this more? Well, God will let me do that. Prayer, hope, and dream syndrome. It's destroying. No. Let me say this right. It's already destroyed the Black community, and it's destroyed it since about the 1800s. Period. You can debate me on that all you want to. Look at the Black community, and you tell me how many churches are in the Black community versus how many banks. It's not even. The numbers are ridiculous. I say all that to say, do men suffer in silence? Yes, men suffer in silence. We suffer in silence all the time. Very few men like me are able to show their face, say who they are, and talk about it. Because if you do that, you end up like that plumber dude. Remember the plumber who just got canceled or fired from his job because, was he being disrespectful? No. He was being firm? Yes. Women don't like firm. Don't call your job. He was mad. Now he fired and he'll find another job. He's a plumber. He's a blue collar. Like I'm a blue collar. We'll find jobs. Somebody's going to hire him. It's not if, it's a when. Blue collar is where it is. Or even better, it's your own business. You can't get fired from your own business. I say all that to say, yes, men suffer in silence. Because we know we say something, that doesn't help other men in the future who see what happened to him, and they're going to be like, oh, I don't want that. So what happens? I don't know how many men that I know who just suffer in silence. They just gone through the motions. There are men who've been dead for years. They ain't been buried yet. Happy wife, happy life, all that other nonsense. That's not a good life to live. Where every day you don't know what's going to happen to you in your relationship. That's more stress than dealing with. I'd rather go overseas and deal with war than deal with every day not knowing how somebody's going to wake up and how they're going to feel about me and whether they want to leave, don't want to leave, they want to cook, don't want to cook, they want to argue, don't want to argue, they want to talk, don't want to talk. That's stressful. When you're overseas, it's a lot more easy. Like, okay, I wake up every day, I'm in a war zone. All right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Totally different. I'm ready for that. But to wake up every day and not know how this other person who's laying beside you or maybe in the other room, dude, that's why suffering silence, stress is real. Do men suffer in silence? Yeah, man. Do I suffer? Shit. I don't suffer at all. No, I don't suffer. I got peace of mind. I don't suffer. You got one time to do something, and my brain, and my subconscious. You got one time. After I done told you who I am, how I function, what I do, because I'm a communicator. That's what I do. I communicate. So I'm telling you all these things about me, and you're like, oh man, you just can't do that. Wrong answer. As I give you that. Gone. Man, you're hard. Yeah, man. Because once you tell somebody all this stuff and then they still do it, remember this. I'm going to wrap it all up in this. Yes, men suffer in silence, and then I'm going to say this, and you'll understand everything I'm talking about. Children make mistakes. Adults make decisions. Wow.